Facebook. Matt Moore here from Onemoorerep, and today I'm talking to Aussie absolute superstar OCR racer Liam McKenzie, and he's taken some time out of his very busy training schedule to chat to me today. And if you don't know Liam, some of his 2019 accolades include winner of the APAC championship. He won in China a couple of months ago. His team picked up the fastest team in the OCR World Championships 24-hour Enduro back in June, hosted in Sydney, and he headed up that team. He took out silver place in the Spartan Australian National Series across 3 races, and just last weekend took out the Raw Challenge Championship across 3 races. So now that you've got a little bit of backstory, I'll bring him on, and here he is. How are you, Liam?
Good, mate. Good. Feeling good. Sunday.
Yeah, nice.
Meant to be a rest day, but it's kind of one of my favourite days to train.
I've seen your rest days, man. There's not a whole lot of resting. I think you ran about 33 Ks up in the Blue Mountains today, like 1,800 metres of vert or something.
Yeah, had a little training run up there. Tried to keep the heart rate down, but just trying to tick over the Ks, mate.
Yeah, cool. That's not how I keep my heart rate down. I do a lot of sitting. We've got a couple of people jumping on live, Carlos and Matthew Probes. Liam is awesome. I see all these wins on Instagram. So Liam, basically, you would have seen last week when I was talking to Big Josh Perizzolo that I've got sort of an interface where I can bring people's comments up. So you can just see me, but everyone else can see a fair bit more going on. So I'll try and keep you posted as I bring stuff up onto the screen.
Sounds good. But
so you've had a big day training and a big couple of months. I've been watching your Instagram stories. You're putting in the work, man.
Yeah,
mate.
There you go.
What does your training schedule look like every week?
I guess it kind of depends on what race I'm focusing towards. So, which has been pretty hard this year because, like the National Series, there's a test over a 5K, a 15 or 14K this year, and then it was the Beast, so 21.
Yeah.
So kind of I changed my training up on what I'm mainly focusing on. So, for instance, if it's a sprint, I'll be doing a lot of speed work. Still trying to keep the same kilometres per week. The slower kilometres, the zone 1 and zone 2 work.
Yep.
But a lot of speed stuff. So, yeah, depending on what event I'm doing, is kind of how my training block is tailored. So, yeah.
Yeah, cool. And with the schedule that you've got, I think you're racing possibly even more events than I do. You'd be running pretty much nearly every weekend in the on season.
Yeah.
How do you plan that out? Do you sort of just keep a month ahead, or you've got so many varying distances and varying events? Do you just pick one that you're going to focus on and sort of wing the rest of them, or how does that work?
Yeah, well, I guess I have a calendar and I have every race that I would like to race in. I basically will have a strong focus towards, my milestone events, that being the National Series, that being, the races that are the big part of each event. So if it's the Raw Challenge, I'll focus towards, the 8K for the start. And it's been back-to-back this year, so it's super hard to try and focus on just one event. But for me, I've just made sure that I'm working on my speed, my endurance, obstacle training, and just trying to keep a holistic approach towards it and rock up with my best on the day.
Yeah, cool. And I see you getting out on those monkey bars. There must be some local bars where you're out there with the weight vest pretty regularly doing the grip training.
Yeah. So that's been a staple in our training, just doing endurance.
Yep.
Especially when you're doing stuff like that goes for anything longer than 2-3 hours. Anyone can do monkey bars back and forth, but whether or not you can do that 15 times with weight, or whether or not you can just do that to fatigue, I find is crucial, because in those races your body's gonna want to break down and you'll be at fatigue. So having an advantage with that definitely has helped me in a lot of my races. Yeah,
for sure, especially in the longer enduros. And talking about one of the enduros, I was lucky enough to cross the line at the same time as the 12-hour Raw Challenge enduro with you and Lachlan Dancy battling it out. And you know, he's absolute legend in the sport, and you know, he was burping out on those A-frames, and I saw you coming, and you were still looking strong, man, and that was 12 hours in, so all that grip training, you know, under duress, under fatigue, it's definitely paying off.
Yeah, I guess for me as well, like obviously I've worked a lot of my running, and you can always work on your running. You can work on every element, but I've always had a stronger side in the obstacles. So especially grip strength. So I've done a lot of rock climbing and stuff like that.
Yeah, cool.
And I work on my grip, and I know, especially in those longer events, no discredit to Lockie, but I know that I'll be able to hold on the bars a little bit longer than he will. So I actually just watched him compete at F45 in a team event, and they won. So
was he the over 35s team?
They were the over 35s, and they crushed the final. I probably could get him over here, but he's probably getting stuck into the champagne. So.
Yeah, I would be too, mate. Nah, cool. And what does your recovery look like with that training schedule? You know, I see you in the ice bath breaking it up with your broomstick. You seem sadistically happy about that every time I see you doing it.
Yeah, I focus really heavily on recovery. So I would probably say my training would be 60 and 40 recovery. So I'm training hard each week, but I'm basically doing an hour to 2 hours after most big sessions of recovery. And that's like foam rolling, that's doing some mobility stuff. Like you've seen, I'm in the ice, so depending on the session, I'll do, maybe 3 minutes in the ice, 3 minutes in a hot shower, and I'll do that cycle 3 times.
Yeah, cool.
And if I've just had a normal training session, I'll probably just jump in for like 3 minutes. But it's been a huge part of being able to race with a busy schedule and not be injured. Touch wood.
Yeah, mate, I couldn't agree more. I've shifted to a lot more yoga and stuff this year, and just being able to bounce back a lot faster. It's so important, and I think a lot of people hit this sport and they think that training more is the answer. And it might be if you only want to do it for 3 months, but if you want to be in it for a little bit of time, and you're 29, man, so you got a lot of time ahead of you in being competitive in endurance sport.
Hopefully you're Lockie and Tony are 42 or 40 and 45, so hopefully I've got at least another 10 years being competitive in the sport. But for me, I just love focusing on the recovery because I can bounce back 10 times faster than I would if I wasn't doing it. So for instance, after 12-hour enduro, I was pretty raw enduro, I was pretty ruined, like struggling to walk the next day, and I basically spent a full day doing recovery in the ice and mobility, and I even have like an acupuncture mat, so it's basically got these little sharp bits of plastic, and I line it. I guess you could say it's quite sadistic, but it also
it's like a bed of nails.
Yeah, pretty much. But it also brings blood flow to areas that need it, and
cool.
It's crazy how the mind works, because doing these things that may seem extreme to other people helps you train your mind as well. So if I put myself in an uncomfortable situation, I'll be able to push myself on race day in an uncomfortable situation and feel relatively comfortable.
Mate, get comfortable being uncomfortable, which I've seen you say more than once.
That's it.
It's definitely true, man. If you can make yourself suffer when you suffer, you know, during a race, it's going to be a bit more bearable. And just while we are talking about the training, Matty Probes just asked a question, just saying he's trained with Lachlan Danzy at Engadine, someone he knows is a strong competitor with you. Do you find it better to train with other people, or do you do things more individually?
That is a great question. So I do have the odd session with guys that I race against. But I guess with the sport of OCR, like you would know, everyone trains different. So how I train to Lockie is totally different. We might go for a long run together, but our schedules, both have very busy schedules. And for me, I don't really want to release too many of the things I'm doing.
Keep it close to your chest, mate, while you're winning. Just for me, like I like to go out and sometimes just release everything from my head as well. So release all the head noise and just get in the zone. And sometimes when you're, doing a session with someone, even if
they may be on the same level as you, you're just going to train to a different degree, and you might not get as much out of the session as you wanted to. So to answer that question, I have done a few sessions. I do a bit of speed work with Chris Woolley, which is great, and we do a couple of long runs together and stuff like that.
And he's an absolute ninja, that bloke. Did you see his run on the Spartan TV show the other day?
I didn't know.
Mate, check it out on his IG. Check it out on his IGTVs.
He's a beast.
He's a weapon.
As far as short course goes, and
I think he's just over in Fenway at the moment, actually, this week.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, so he had a little race this morning. I think it was just a bit of a get used to the course kind of open wave, and then I think he's raced it against all the pros like Ryan Kent and stuff. Probably in a couple of hours. So looking forward to seeing how he goes.
Cool. And I agree with that. A lot about the training. You sort of go into a bit of a flow, and it is an individual sport, especially when you are out there endurance running. I like that. I'll be doing the ultra at Bright, and I know that I won't be there super fast, so I'll probably group with people that are around me because I like bouncing off people. But when you're at the front of the pack, there's not really people keeping up with you, is there? A lot of it's just battling in your mind. So you've got to sort of get used to doing that training, I think.
Exactly. I think you get to a point once you are where you want to be, especially the elite guys, where you run to a pace that you know you need to get to. So whether you might be in second, that may change a little bit, or third. But if you're in first, or for myself, I have a pace I want to hit. So if I'm going to do a specific session, I'm making sure I'm hitting that pace, and I'm feeling as comfortable as I can. Especially in the longer races. So
cool. And mate, what did you do before OCR? So we were talking earlier today, and I think you said you started about 2017 in the sport.
Yeah. So I actually got into it from good question. I probably can't answer that one, but I think it was around 2017, and my first race may have been a True Grit. So went and did the course, and I was like, I have come from an athletic background.
What were you doing before? So track and field.
Yeah, mainly track and field. So up until high school, mainly I was doing a lot of 800s, 1500s. Cool. I guess that short distance, long distance.
Starting to get into long distance.
Yeah, and a lot of cross country and stuff like that. And then I was also doing a lot of soccer. So the two clashed a little bit, focused on soccer for a couple of years, which you are running a lot in soccer.
But a very different type of running to...
Correct. Yeah. And then, basically just got introduced to the sport, loved it from the start, and I was still doing a few other things at the time, like F45, and it was kind of like a year of trying to figure out what I wanted to focus on. But over the time, I've just, especially this year, I've just knuckled down and said, you know what, I'm going to focus on obstacle course racing and see where it takes me. Yeah.
And mate, look, I'm fascinated to know what it is that drives you to train at the level that you train. To compete at your level, I think it comes down to who wants it the most. And what makes you want it as much as you do? What's driving you to do this?
Probably the love of it would be the first thing. There hasn't been one race that I've finished and I've hated, basically, and I've had a few. So the love would be the
couple.
A couple. So the love would probably be the biggest part. I love the sport. I love the community. It's probably the thing that drives me to be so involved in it as well. Guys like yourself, we rock up to an event and we're all catching up. And even if I wasn't winning races, I'd still rock up to an event with a smile on my face. So love being the top thing. And for me, I love to push myself and just find new boundaries or... just get to a point where I am hurting, and if I am achieving good results at the same time, then it's just a bonus. But I like to hurt.
Man. Look, I'm the same. Well, one of my favourite quotes is "It's only when it rains that we grow," and you learn some shit about yourself when you're out there,
You do.
during a 24-hour enduro, and it's night time and you're asleep running off a trail and you're actually running while you're sleeping.
Yeah,
it's
and you're having that head noise telling you to quit and this sucks and why are you doing it? And then you finish the race and a couple of weeks later you're looking for another 24-hour endurance event. So
yeah, and everyone else is just wondering why we're so crazy.
A special breed that is attracted to it, and I'm sure if you went into the psychology of it, there would probably be a lot of common denominators in people that are doing it and doing it so often.
Mate, they're calling it the new midlife crisis. Is this this extreme obstacle stuff?
Yeah, so I can see that.
It's an outlet for something. And,
exactly.
That sort of draws me into my next question, which it looks like Maddie's just asked. Another one as well that sort of ties in. I said earlier, you're 29. You've got a long career ahead of you in this. If you want to pursue it, what's next for you, man? I'm seeing you just improve at a rapid pace. Are you looking to, where do you want to go?
Well, it's a great question. For myself, I set big goals, and I'll keep the big goals personal. But my short-term goals are the ones I'm trying to achieve as I go. So whether that be competing in a national series and getting a certain spot in there, whether that just be hitting a PB for the week, stuff like that. I'm always just trying to find, my limit. And how far I can push myself. So
I think I'm sort of not after the which race are you going hard at. More are you looking to grow in the sport? Are you looking to sort of keep pushing it?
Yeah, I'm looking to definitely grow in the sport. This year the big focus was the national series in Australia for Spartan and whatever other series I could kind of make and get myself involved in. But next year I'll be racing internationally. So
cool,
which
man.
I haven't really told anyone yet, but
you just did.
I just did. Basically national series in Australia, and then I'm going to be racing through Southeast Asia. So I'll do the C series for Spartan.
Yeah, cool.
Hopefully still be able to sneak in the Raw, which I absolutely love. The Raw Challenge. Mate,
that's probably my favourite obstacle course.
As
far as what course is probably the best equaliser. If you've got a weakness, it will find it, that course.
It will, yeah. It definitely will, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So in answer to that question, I guess the goal next year is to race internationally, meet a new community of people as well. I just raced in Malaysia maybe like a month ago or something, and the amount of people I met over there was just crazy from all over the world. So
I think
really excited.
You won that race, did you not, over in Malaysia?
I won the sprint on the Saturday and I won the beast on the Sunday. So
just a casual one over in Malaysia.
Well, I kind of went over there because there was a few guys saying that they couldn't make APAC. And I had a really good race at APAC. I think anyone could have shown up on that day, and I definitely would have put it to them. So, decided to go over there and race the guys that couldn't make it. So
yeah, cool. So you shut them up, basically.
That was, basically in saying it in a nice way. Yeah,
it's undisputed.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. And Matty Probes asked another question. How have you found racing Spartans in other countries? What is their different? What are the differences compared to Oz?
Okay, good question. To Australia, obviously different competitors. I find our Australian series is just full of Aussies, which is great, and I think the Australian standard's so high, and you could probably take the top 10 guys and they would still race competitively throughout Asia and whatnot. Okay. For me, the biggest challenges were they have, I guess, obstacles that we don't have in Australia. So like Twister, well, we don't have them yet, but they're coming in bright, which is pretty exciting.
It's coming.
Twister, tyre flip, stuff like that, that I hadn't done before. So there was always the unknown factor of how I was going to go in that under pressure. I was still training to make sure my grip was good for Twister, that I was doing tyre flips, stuff like that. But yeah, basically that was the unknown. I actually had a bit of a freak out when they dropped the Malaysia map because they said there was a memory test. And I've never heard of that before. So.
Yeah, where did I do a memory test? I did a memory test somewhere. It might have been Hawaii.
Okay, yeah.
Basically, they had this like huge board with, you had to, like, your race number
headband,
gave you like certain things, and you had to remember like a sequence of numbers or something, or a sequence of letters. It was like, and you're running down out of the jungle, and your head's fried, as you know. Like
you got race brain. You're just focusing on just like what you're doing. You don't need to try and remember.
Yeah, like
I'm code for an hour.
I'm flat out following the signs. Like
exactly.
And they say, you know, when you're running, don't try and do maths or anything like that.
Yeah,
it just takes away the cognitive ability. You can't focus. So it's a really interesting one. The memory challenge. But yeah.
So there would be that, and the fact that I'm probably racing against guys that I don't race, I guess, week to week. So I do a little bit of, I guess, due diligence and just checking what guys are doing overseas, how they're racing, what I guess how well they're doing, stuff like that. With Strava these days, you can kind of follow people like running
athletes stalk people.
Yeah, to a degree, and I think we all speak on Instagram and stuff like that these days anyway, so we know who we're going to be up against. But biggest challenges would be obstacles I hadn't done in Australia and racing against guys I never raced against before.
Yep. And that sort of brings me into a question and something that I wanted to remark upon. I've just brought a photo up of the start line of the final race of the Raw Challenge Championship. And if you remember the photo that I used for my recap, right at the start, I think Glenn's holding you and you're sort of pushing him off as you're taking off. You know, how much fun do you guys have at the front of the field? Because it's just an absolute group of legends in this sport.
Yeah. Once again, like that was, and what I've been finding for myself is trying to be as relaxed as possible coming into a race. So start of the year, like I felt like my stomach was just in my mouth. Like I was just freaking out. Like, I'm racing against all these top guys. Like, how am I going to go? Like, am I going to be disappointed in my placing? Stuff like that. And throughout the year, I've just done a little bit of, I guess, minor meditation in the ice bath and just trying to get the mind as relaxed as possible. And I found just having a chat with guys before the race rather than just being in my own zone is a good thing as well. Just having a bit of a laugh and hey, you only can do what you can do on the day. But that was a really funny start line. We had a bit of myself and Brendan had a bit of banter where he was telling me Brendan Hunt, as you guys probably know, he loves a bit of banter.
Loves it.
He was telling me that it was a good thing I was wearing my necklace so he could basically hold on to me throughout the race. And at that start line, Glenn had one hand and Brendan had the other, and it was just good vibes. Like, it's the start of a 16-kilometre race. Like, it's not going to make a difference if they hold you back on the start line. But I will mention one thing. Brendan did try and drown me in the swim because I passed him, which was pretty... It was funny. I was laughing, but he's got some tactics. You got to watch out.
He's a sneaky one. And so let's talk about your partner Beck. She's taken some podiums out as well.
She has.
Have you got her on a
here? She.
Hey. Has he got you on a rigorous training schedule, Beck? Oh, he's got headphones in.
Are you on a rigorous training schedule with me?
Very rigorous. Unbelievable.
Don't let him push you too hard, but whatever you're doing, it's working. You're becoming the power couple in OCR.
We just both share a good love for it, and like Beck has no background in running, so for her it was all new. So she was basically coming with me to every event, being on the sideline, being the greatest support. I still need her for the longer races, so as long as it doesn't clash with the longer ones.
Some places you just can't put dry glide on yourself. You need somebody else.
Yeah, and when you're in a delirious state, you just kind of need that person to
somebody just put your shoes on and go get back out there.
Get back out there.
Yeah, don't sit down. You'll stop.
Stop having a 3-minute break after a 60 kilometre run.
Yep.
But no, she's killing it, and it's only the start of what she's capable of, and I've kind of seen that. I actually do coach her, so I've seen how rapidly she's improving, and it's great to kind of bounce off training together. We do a lot of speed work sessions together, still kind of focus on our own goals and our own main sessions we kind of do separately, but there's the long runs on Sunday we're trying to do together, and a lot of speed work, but I think she's capable of a lot more, and I think that will over time become apparent.
Yep.
So excited.
That's awesome, man. Awesome. And
the biggest, you go.
Sorry,
I was going to say the biggest battle we have at the moment is she's starting to get a few trophies, so they're sneaking their way into the trophy cabinet, and
who gets to go in front?
Yeah, that's the battle. But I think she'll overtake me soon, and she's the start of many great things for her. So excited. Yeah,
you've both got long careers if you want it. If you
we want it. Yes.
Yeah, cool.
If you came to our house, you'd sure figure out that we love it. We've got photos of our races all over the wall. A couple of trophies. We've got a spear set up in the backyard with grips set up, and live for it.
Awesome. Which is why I succeed. So you're talking about getting a little bit more mindful this year, getting out of your head, doing a little bit of meditation, stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's your pre-race ritual? What does it look like now?
So it used to be, it always is a warm-up. So I'll do depending on how I'm feeling, I'll try and do like a 10 to 15 minute warm-up, just at a pretty easy pace. I'll do some squats and just basically get the body moving and stuff like that. But I used to be, I guess, I'm quite highly strung and just freaking out and not really talking to anyone, just kind of in my own head, in my own zone. And I'm still, I guess, in my own zone, but when I'm doing my warm-up, but I'm making sure at least 5 to 10 minutes before the race, I'm nice and warm, and I'm just going to have a chat to whoever's around and just try and relax. A lot of nose breathing I do as well, just to try and keep me calm.
Yeah.
Get as much oxygen into the lungs as well, and then just give my best on the day, and what happens. Like, in obstacle course racing, you can miss a spear, lose a race, so it is what it is, and you just got to give your best for the day. So accepting that is hard sometimes when you've had a really good race, but you got to remember that there's so many more in the year, and if there's areas that you can focus on, just making sure you're focusing them in your training rather than putting them in the corner and forgetting about them.
Definitely.
If you lost the lead by a couple of seconds, then make up for those seconds in your next race. So.
Yep. Cool. How much of a difference do you think that the mindfulness has made this year? Like, obviously it looks like your fitness has come leaps and bounds. How much of that that gain do you think is purely mental?
I think it's huge. I would say if you're rocking up to the start line and your mind's not there, you're not going to have a good race. And I've
couldn't
seen
agree
it
more.
happen to. I'm not going to mention any names, but I've seen it happen to a few guys before, and they're counting themselves out before they've even started. So
I've done it to myself, mate. I can definitely tell you. I'm reading a mindfulness audio book at the moment, just because it's an area that I want to get a little bit stronger in. So
it's so powerful, and when, I guess, especially when you are doing an endurance event, you do realise how strong your mind is, because your body feels like it's about to collapse and you're done and you're cramping, and next minute you just get over it.
Yep.
And your mind pushes through and your body feels good, and it's like, what the hell's going on? You're trying to tap out halfway through, and next minute you're running the pace you were at the start of the race. So
yeah, you get that roller coaster, especially in the Enduros, where you sort of come in one lap and you're like, that was excellent. Next lap you come in and you go, that was terrible, and then you're back again. It's weird. It's weird. What's your nutrition look like as far as pre-race? Do you have a set pre-race meal? What usually keeps you going on the course?
Depending on the race as well, it will be different. So, and depending on the start time as well. So if I'm going to run a short race, like a sprint, for myself, I'll probably just wake up. I'll have like a hydrolyte or true endurance, which is basically just like a big mix of carbs in liquid form. For me, my stomach is better with liquids, so I try and stick to the liquids in the morning. If I'm going to run a beast, I'll try and get some eggs in on some toast, as well as the carb liquid mix. But yeah, I have a really big meal the night before.
What's your pre-race meal? I always smash chicken pasta, man.
Do ya? Okay.
Usually too much, and then like the first K of the race, I'm like, fuck, I ate too much chicken pasta. But
yeah, I've come to the realization that for me, especially in an endurance event, like I'll try and have like a really good fatty meal with good fats. So I'm not going to have McDonald's or anything, but I'll have like a really big, thick bit of salmon with avocado. Try and get the carbs in with like good carbs with sweet potato, bit of rice, stuff like that. It sits really well on my stomach, and as you know, once you kind of deplete all your glycogen from having all your gels and stuff like that, you start to burn fats if you are eating in the correct way. Definitely. And that's kind of what works for me. I don't really count macros. I'm burning enough calories as I do every day, so I just kind of eat until I'm full.
you don't look like you need to count macros.
I just eat till I'm full, and through I guess testing different things. Like for me, pasta doesn't work, so everyone's different. So I would highly suggest don't change what you're eating as well. So if you eat that and you feel good off that when you're doing a long training session, eat that before race day. A big thing is testing your gels and your nutrition that you're taking during a race. Don't try a different gel on the day. Stick to your stable ones that work well in your stomach. Just from like training runs and stuff like that, every big training run I'll basically take my race kit and I'll make sure that I'm working well off that and my stomach's feeling good. That would be my advice. And try not to take too much advice from other people. Everyone's different, so test out what works for you.
I think especially with nutrition, it is just such an individual thing. And a couple of people messaged me prior to this and said, "Can you ask him what he eats?" And it's like, it's just because he eats that doesn't mean it's going to work for you, you know. Like I'm giving away a beast pack at Bright that's got some Cliff bars and some gels and stuff. And one of the things that I said was, if you haven't tried this stuff, don't take it on the beast and eat it, because you haven't tested it, you know. Make the mistakes in training, not on the course.
Yeah, you're not going to wear a brand new pair of trail shoes for a beast, so don't
I have done that, actually.
Yeah. You have done that?
Yeah, it went very poorly.
But for me, I eat very clean. I don't eat any fast food, really. Everything we eat, Beck cooks.
So her medals are first in the cabinet.
No, she can have whatever what she wants, because she's cooking the good foods, and that's the stuff that fuels us. And like I have in the past just counted my macros just to see what I was intaking every day, and I'm always in a deficit. I don't think I'll ever be over what I'm burning, and that's just my body. Like I have a very physical job, and I train quite a bit, so probably on average I would burn anywhere between 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day, and I'm probably intaking about 3,000. Anything more than that, I would have to start eating shitty food. So no thanks.
More calorie dense stuff. Just trying to get the nutrition in. Sure. It is super important, especially at the elite level. That you do have really good fuel coming in, and you said you have a physical job. You're a Sydney boy. You're over Northern Beaches way, eh?
Yeah, Northern Beaches. I also run a landscape construction and pool building business,
awesome.
Which I have a massive love for as well. And I don't know. I think everything happens for a reason, and if you spend a day with me on site, you'll realise that a lot of the stuff we do day to day correlates well with the Spartan race. So we'll carry a 50 to 60 kilo bit of sandstone. We're walking up driveways with a 20% incline. It's great for that low intensity training, and I don't think I've really ever had a day where I've just kind of sat down and done nothing, whether it be like working and putting in 20 to 30,000 steps during the day. And
sorry man, my dog's just going crazy.
That's all right. It's excited. Physical job, and it is tough some days when you come home and you've had a draining day and you've worked hard all day. But for me, having a training schedule is massive, and I stick to it because once you start to skip a few days, you're just gonna. For me, mentally, I'm going to feel bad. So I'd prefer to, I guess, hurt for that hour, 2 hours, 30 minutes, whatever it be, rather than, just miss out on the session. And then mentally, you're going to kind of be more drained than an hour of physical activity. Yeah,
I'm a big believer in that too. Like if you are hurting, if you do have really bad DOMs, just pull the intensity back, but still go through the motions, because then you're keeping the habits in place, right? Every time you stop, you don't go to the gym, you're creating the new habit of not going, right? You're replacing your good habits with bad habits. So I'm huge on that as well. So, cool.
And like you would know, I think it's very important to have a training schedule because
definitely.
If you're making it up as you go, that's great, but you're not going to have that much structure. So if you're changing your sessions every day on how you feel, you're going to miss those elements that you need to be working on. So,
and you're usually going to miss the stuff that you're not good at, because that's the stuff the stuff you avoid. So I avoid leg days like the plague because I hate them. But if I focused on legs, I would probably get the fastest gains there because it's a weak spot, right? So sometimes
you just chuck into your schedule on a Friday. Friday's a pretty good day. You just have heavy leg day.
Maybe I've got to come out and carry some papers with you guys.
Yeah, I've always said that to anyone if they kind of want to come and do some labouring for the day and see what it takes to be a landscaper. You'll realise that, it correlates very well for Spartan racing. So
cool. Well, if anyone wants any landscaping done, you're probably the fastest landscaper in Sydney, I reckon. So, cool. Mate, 2 pieces of advice. If somebody wanted to get into this sport, say either just as a beginner or wanted to get in at an elite level, what's 2 pieces of advice if you had to start tomorrow with what you know in your head now? 2 biggest things.
2 bits of advice, I would say, firstly, sign up for a race.
Do it.
And sign up for a race that you are going to be capable of completing and have a good time. So don't make your first race to be a beast or an ultra unless you can run those distances. Sign up for a sprint, sign up for a 5K, do a little bit of training beforehand because it'll give you a bit of confidence. So just go for an easy 5K run, like try and get some time on your feet. Just be aware of what your capabilities are and just go out and have a good time. Like you don't need to be the fastest guy on the field. Have a good time. The second part of that question, going into an elite level, I think the great thing with a lot of these events are they do have age groups, so or they have an open. So you could do a couple of races in open, race in your age group, see how you stack up against the guys there, and just work your way into the elite level. But I think it's great for guys to race in elite as well because they're racing against the best on the day in that sport. So
definitely.
I think it's race. To sum it up, basically, do an open race, do a Spartan race, do a raw challenge, do a true grit, whatever you want to do. Get a couple of friends to do it with you, and then if you take fancy of it, start working hard and start with age group and work your way into elite, and you'll surprise yourself what you can achieve. But just be mindful of trying to overachieve as well, because that's what can get you down as well. So
cool. And I think there's good wisdom in that too. You know, if you think you've got what it takes to make the step up, you're always going to be better being a small fish in a big pond. I think you've got a lot more potential to grow. than being the big fish in the little pond. So.
And there's no rush. Like, these things don't happen overnight. A lot of the guys that are racing elite come from an endurance background, athletic background. They've put in a lot of time to get to that fitness level on the day and race against the best guys. So I think it's great to push yourself, but just be mindful of what you can achieve, and don't set the bar too high that you're going to let yourself down. Just have fun
and focus on recovery. So.
Focus on recovery.
You've only got one body.
Don't go out and start running 50, 70 kilometre weeks if you haven't built up to that. Like, just steadily build yourself up. Start with 5K a week, then move up to 10K and then 20K, and it takes a long time to build your aerobic base. So there's no rush.
Not even just your aerobic base, just the capacity of your joints and your muscles. Like, if you're just going out feet pounding pavement without any adaptation, you're going to have some problems pretty fast. So, and that leads into a question that Andrew asked, Andrew Nobbs. He just said, how different is training between a beast event and an ultra event? You know, is there much? Is it just a little bit more miles, a little bit more recovery?
Yeah, pretty much spot on there. I guess for the beast, you're going to run it with a little bit more speed. So for myself, I'm still making sure I'm getting in the speed work for the week, whether that just be like a tempo 10K, always try and sneak a park run in. That's a quick 5K. So just keep making sure you're keeping the speed element, because if you're running slow, long miles, you're going to get very comfortable at that pace as well. So you might have a good day in the ultra, but you probably won't have as good a day in the beast. So just make sure if you're racing both those events, you're tailoring your training towards the both. But if you are racing those events, you probably like to be racing well. Your Ks are going to be up there. I'm not going to throw a number out because it's different for everyone. But for me, I'm making sure I'm hitting those targets for the week. Still doing the speed work, but also making sure I'm getting in the miles as well, or the kilometres, as we call it in Australia.
Yeah, cool, man. Cool. I've got a couple of questions to get through, and then I'll let you go. I've got a quick one here from Mitch. What's your thought on Spartan reducing the distance on sprints and supers? What's I don't know if we want to open that can of worms. What's the one thing you would change or bring in that you've seen overseas that you think would make OCR better in Australia?
Okay. The changing of the distances. Don't get me wrong, I love running a 14K super. If they'd left it at that, I'd be happy. The fact that it is 10Ks now has just changed it to a different race, and I think I do agree with Spartan in saying that they are trying to standardise it, and they're working it out as they go. I think a lot of people give them a lot of grief for making decisions like this, but it's bringing new people into the sport. Like, if you were to ask someone to do a 10K race, there's going to be a lot more people that sign up for it than a 14K.
That psychological barrier is huge.
It's huge. It's huge, and it's still 10 kilometres. It's not a short race, so I think it's going to bring in a little bit more of a speed element. So you're going to probably be running a little bit faster than you would in the 14K. It's just exciting. Like, I'm constantly excited to see where Spartan's going, and I think the standardisation of a lot of the obstacles and the distances is just going to bring more people into the sport, and that's kind of where we want it to go. Right, we want to get in the Olympics hopefully soon, which is the big goal.
It's heading that way, which is why they've standardised, because 14K around the world is a weird distance, 8 mile, whereas a 10K is a pretty standard worldwide run.
Yeah. Like, if you ask anyone what their PBs are, they'll probably give you a 5K PB and a 10K PB. They're not going to give you a 14K. So
100%.
I think don't get beaten up that they've broadened it down. If you want to race a longer race, sign up for the beast. And there's trifectas happening all the time, so you can do the super and the beast. So just work on. My advice would be work on your 10K, and you'll probably have a great time. So
I think people just don't like change sometimes.
I think especially with social media and that these days, like, everyone has an opinion, and I think that's great. But I think a lot of people focus on the negative rather than the positive. And like, how disappointing would it be if Spartan didn't, if they just scrapped the Super? So rather than complain about it, they've made it a faster race. They're bringing more people in, which is going to make it a more competitive race.
Yep.
And it's going to grow. So
and it actually like ups the obstacle density, so there's less running per obstacle. So I'm happy because I'm not a runner. So it's made me happy.
It is obstacle course racing, and that's a great point. So, like, no discredit to any of the courses, but sometimes it is a major trail run. So, if your strength is trail run, you might do like an 8 to 10k loop, which may have 1 to 2 obstacles. So, if they're bringing it down to 10 with 25 or so obstacles, I think that's what it is. It's just, it's an obstacle course race, and that's what everyone wants. So otherwise go to a trail race.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. What's the one thing you would change or bring in that you've seen overseas? Was the other half of that question.
Okay, I am a big fan of grip obstacles. So just watching the recent world champs in Tahoe, and I managed to get a glimpse of a little bit of the Ultra in Iceland. I love grip obstacles, so I would love to see more of them come into the races. Which we're getting Twister, which is super exciting because I think that's going to bring in a new element. So people, like in the elite level especially, people can do the monkey bars. So bringing in a Twister, 3 back to back, I'll tell you now from racing in Malaysia after getting out of a swim, it's tough.
I did it in Hawaii. It's tough. It's tough with wet hands.
Like. So I'm super excited for Twister. I'm sure that as the sport grows, they're going to bring in more and more obstacles. I know there's a lot of talk from the top elites in the world, like Ryan Atkins and whatnot, talking about there being, I guess, added on obstacles. So rather than there be 2 twisters for a normal race, the elites have to do 6 in a row or something like that. So I'd be super excited if that comes in. Because it would be a great test of every element in obstacle course racing. So to answer that question, I would love to see some more grip obstacles. I love the tyre flip. I think that's a pretty exciting obstacle as well. But I think as it grows, we're going to see some more exciting stuff come in. So
couldn't agree more.
I'm just going to say goodbye to someone. See you, Faz. See you later.
Sorry, mate. I'm trying to get through these questions. They're coming in as fast as we're answering them. I've got
anyway, so.
Sweet. I've got. I think your pizza's gone, mate. So I've just had Mitch just asked another one. He just said seeing vision from World's Ultra today. So they're running the 24-hour Ultra over in Sweden. Who I saw Killian actually pulled out halfway.
Yeah, he did.
Saw that. But Mitch has just said they have a drum carry penalty loop instead of burpee penalty for a failed obstacle. Is that something you'd like to see brought in? I know Toughest Mudder, they run loops as penalties. So so if you fail an obstacle, you have to run out a certain 200 meter run or whatever. How keen are you on the burpees? Would you like to see some alternative form of sadistic punishment?
I think it'd be exciting to bring it in for some obstacles for sure. Whether it be like a farmer's carry or whatever. What do you say, a drum carry?
I didn't see what they were doing, but
okay. I think it's exciting. I think it would be hard to standardise it as well as a burpee because I guess the burpee's in the same spot. You're doing the same exercise, and it's watched as well. So I think if there's a penalty loop, as long as it was, I guess, watched as well, because people could skip it, people could miss on that. So that might cause a bit of drama. A lot of those big events are filmed, so they're probably sweet there. But I think to bring it across board, I know everyone hates doing burpees, but I think it's a big part of Spartan as well. So it'd be a shame to see it go.
I like them. I don't like them. I hate them.
You don't like doing burpees,
but I think they're amazing. Especially if you're in something like a beast and you've sort of got a good steady state run going, and you have to throw 30 burpees in that mix. That can just derail you for a kilometre or two. Well, it does for me, but I think they're a great penalty.
Yeah,
So-
well, it is punishment, and you'll be running at a relatively like medium heart rate, and then you'll go into 30 burpees, and your heart rate will skyrocket to about 180. So
Yeah, straight out of zone 1.
straight out of zone 1 into zone 5, and then you've got, the hardest part about that is you've got to run back into a good pace as well. So
Yep.
I think the penalty loops would be great just as long as they're filmed.
As long as it's all
enough.
regulated.
As long as it's regulated, yeah. So, but I'm not fussed.
Yeah, cool. Got another one from Philip Stone. Where's your moustache, Liam? I think I've got enough moustache for both of us.
Yeah, mate. I don't have an answer for that. I've done Movember every year. I'm actually I actually thought the other day I'm a little bit disappointed in myself because I haven't done it, but it's not too late. I'll probably throw in some ridiculous thing I did last year actually. Towards the end of November, for everyone that donated money, I had 5 exercises, and they got to choose what exercise I had to do out of those 5. And I had
God,
to do
don't give people ideas, man. Don't give people ideas.
After I've finished Bright, I'm open to anything. So,
cool.
I'll try and raise as much money as I can. As for a moustache, mine's not as good as yours, not as sexy as yours. Mine's pretty bad. So, yeah.
How did you describe this? It's not pretty bad.
No, it's not pretty bad. It's exciting. So, I was surprised when I saw it, and I was just curious how they did it. But yeah, you've done well there.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's no sex November for a reason, mate. Big Josh Perizzolo's on live, and he's got the last comment. He's just said, how are you going to keep up with Quintin in the ultra? I'm sure you're going to want to keep that to your chest.
How am I going to keep up with Quintin? Well, we actually haven't raced each other in an ultra.
I saw the Gilly Goat was out doing he just posted on Insta.
Yeah.
So he was out doing a training run at
Bright.
Bright. No, he wasn't calling you out. He was just saying he was training up in Bright.
Was he? Oh, he's training in Bright.
He was, yeah. I think last week he posted today.
Yeah, mate, I don't focus too much on who I'm racing against. I just put my best out for the day. We both have different strengths, which you guys might find out on the day. We kind of know what they are from racing against each other. And mate, we've been talking shit for the last couple of weeks, just getting just getting revved up about it. Like Josh is a great long distance runner as it is, so he's going to be up there as long as is he racing?
I'm not sure. I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so.
I wasn't sure if he.
I don't know if he's still watching. Hopefully he. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't focus on who I'm racing against. We actually are going to race the Super the day before, so that's going to be my first point of focus, and then I'll focus on my recovery, and then I'll just give my best for the day. Hey, if I beat Quintin, if I beat Lockie, if I beat Josh, that's a bonus. But I plan on leaving it all out there, and I've been working pretty damn hard. Cool. So I hope the boys are ready to race. Yeah,
awesome. Just up there for the love of it, man, which is fucking awesome. Cool, mate. Last question. You've given me loads of time today, so I really do appreciate it, mate. We've had pretty consistent people on the whole time. We've been going for nearly an hour, so mate. Last question, and I said to Big Josh last weekend, 2 weeks ago, sorry, that he's just actually said I'll be there, so he'll be there. He'll be running up that mountain.
Try and keep up, Josh.
Try and keep up.
Oh, no,
there you go, Josh.
No, I think the great thing about these ultras are like you have a bit of a laugh while you're out there. You're working hard, but like you're supportive to the guys you're racing against. So and a lot of the time these races are going to be pretty close. So I think this year it's pretty exciting because like I haven't raced against Lockie in a Spartan ultra. I haven't raced against Josh. I haven't raced against Quintin. So yeah, who knows?
Yeah, awesome.
We'll see who's willing to leave it all out there.
It's just going to come down to who wants it more, man.
Exactly.
So last question. Last week I said told Josh a story about Bright. I think it was 2 years ago where I was running he's just said shots fired. I was just running the the beast, I think, and I had some shorts, some 2XU shorts on with no courtesy shorts, and I've ripped the bottom out of my shorts.
Yeah.
And I think I was coming through the last net crawl, and I had a woman behind me, and said something along the lines of "Don't look," and then she said, "Well, I'm looking now."
Yeah.
So, and I said to Josh, you know, what's your best race fail? And he had a similar experience. He ripped his shorts apart. What's your best race fail? And I'm not talking about like, did you dislocate a knee or something? What's the funniest thing you've had go wrong on an obstacle course?
The funniest is a tough one. Maybe Beck might know. I might just ask her quickly. What's the funniest race fail I've had? I did. I've got to be very careful what I say here, but I did rip my tights in raw as well. So when I was doing the pegboard, I
can hear her laughing.
No,
Yeah.
you're doing the one near the pole with the legs up.
Oh, I was doing the pole with the legs up where you got your butt in the air.
Oh, yeah.
And basically where I ripped it was where you go to the toilet. So
Yeah.
it looked like I'd done it on purpose, so I could just sneak one out on the
going a little bit slow through the dam.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it in the dam. I do it in the bush. I'm not that bad, but
There is one dam you're allowed to pee in at Raw. They told me. It's in the racer guide. Yeah.
It's like the one in Enduro. What do they call it? The P dam or whatever.
Linda's Glory Hole, I think, is the name that's going around at the moment.
Yeah, so mate, to be honest, every time I race, I'm really zoned in. I've never had a bad stack, touch wood. I don't think Beck. Yeah, apart from the rip in the tights, I've had a pretty clean run so far. So
touch wood.
Yeah, touch wood. I'll probably something will happen to me and Bright. And yeah, I hope it's funny and I don't eat shit.
I hope it's funny too. Funny's good. Funny's good.
Yeah.
Mate, I've just had another comment from Ben just saying, love the chat, can't wait to see you all on the hills next week. And mate, I couldn't agree with that more. I'm gonna love getting down to Bright, which is basically the mecca of Australian obstacle racing, and just catching up with all of you legends. So, mate, thank you for your time today. It's been very entertaining, and mate, all the best. Taper off for have your taper off for Bright, and we'll see how you go there.
Sounds good, Matty. Thanks, guys. Thanks
Cheers,
for listening.
bud. See you, mate.
Cheers. Bye.